Hola y buenos dias. Today is a very exciting day because we are finally heading to Machu Picchu and I'm so excited.
Yes, so this is something that we've been waiting to do for quite a long time, and actually rewind back to when we were in the van. We were dreaming far and wide one night and we were like, you know what? We're gonna go to Machu Picchu. And so we sat down and we booked some tickets. Today we are going to try to do this entire thing by ourselves. Usually people will go with a tour to Machu Picchu, but we are hoping that we might save some money if we do it by ourselves. So back in the van, we booked our tickets way ahead of time because obviously Machu Picchu is a huge tourist destination, and so we want to secure our spots. So the tickets to enter Machu Picchu cost $42 per person, and so we booked those tickets, and then after that we had to figure out how we're gonna get to Machu Picchu. Yeah. And that is when we had to book the Peru Rail.
So this is obviously a more luxurious option. We opted to do the train line because Claire actually got to go a few years ago with her family, and she really loved the experience. Yeah. So the train tickets for both of us were $226 US. So for each of us it was like 113 each.
Yeah, so definitely more on the expensive side, but I do think it'll be well worth it, and it'll just be a very memorable experience. So those were the only two things that we did beforehand. And so now that we are experiencing Machu Picchu the day of, we are going to take you along and see if we can do the rest.
Yeah, hopefully it all goes smoothly.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I will be so excited if we make it. So we have an incredible breakfast this morning that the hostel has made for us, and everything you see here was 16 soles for both of us. Breakfast was delicious, really well needed.
Yeah, this is like freshly squeezed orange juice. It's so good. But actually, I think I'm gonna change my shirt because I just realized the mountains around Machu Picchu are all green and I don't want to blend right into the mountains, so I'm gonna switch to the granola version of the shirt. So we will actually be leaving our suitcases here because we do not want to be lugging these to Machu Picchu, and we won't be staying here tonight again, but we will be coming back here before we go to Cusco. So the Airbnb will just hold it and it'll be nice and safe. So yesterday Chad actually scouted out the train station, so it'll be a 20-minute walk from our Airbnb.
All the time, by the side, you and I, near each other.
So we did not know that these face shields are required to get onto the Peru Rail and perhaps at Machu Picchu. And so we ended up paying 4 soles for the 2 of these, but apparently at Machu Picchu they cost 10 soles. So hopefully we did get a good deal, but if you do come beforehand, just pick it up at a local market. It might be a little bit cheaper.
And all the time apart.
The train has just arrived and we are in car D, and we're gonna go find our seats.
So tired. So my slim. Every time by the side, you and I were drawn apart. And all the time apart.
Welcome to Aguas Calientes. This is the city right underneath Machu Picchu. So the rail actually brought us to the city, and now we have to go up a mountain to finally get to Machu Picchu.
So the one thing that we did not buy in advance is our bus ticket to Machu Picchu. So we're gonna go buy that now and then hop on a bus. So we just got our bus tickets for Machu Picchu, and we bought 2 tickets only going up, not a round trip. And the ticket for one person going up is $12, and if you want to buy a round trip ticket, it costs $24. So we're actually going to add a new experience. We're going to hike all the way down, and I'm pretty excited for that part. But we're actually going to hop on a bus and head up now.
Gracias.
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 Gracias. We have officially made it to Machu Picchu, one of the 7 wonders of the world, and I'm very excited to be here, and I have a lot of history to tell you guys. So it was actually created around the 1450s by the Incan Empire, and it is presumed to have been utilized by nobility. So they would come here for a retreat and enjoy the views and do whatever Incan rulers would need to do. But then within a span of 100 years, it was actually completely abandoned. There are 2 theories about this, is that the Spanish actually came up here, they conquered them, or it was because of disease, but they're not totally sure on why. So it was then left with the test of time, and it was overgrown with vegetation for someone else to find later.
So over 300 years later, in 1911, an explorer under the name of Bingham came with his crew looking for the last Incan stronghold, and he found it, and that is because he came across a farmer that knew of some ruins high in the mountains, and he called them Machu Picchu, which in the Quechua language means old peak. And so Bingham and his crew went up the mountain, and of course they did find Machu Picchu itself. It was then rediscovered, and he essentially shared it across the world, you know, word of mouth, and now so many tourists around the world, I think over 1 million every single year, come to see Machu Picchu. So as you can see, we have perfect weather today. When we were coming up, it was actually raining just a little bit, but then the sun came out, but there's still beautiful clouds that kind of give it this misty, eerie ambiance. And so I couldn't be happier with what we've got.
So now that we have talked about a bit of the history and seen it from high above, we're going to head down and explore the ruins room by room.
We are about to enter. The last time I came to Machu Picchu, I came on a tour, and I was told that this rock over here looks like a guinea pig, and perhaps it is presumed that the Incans were eating guinea pig here. I think it's absolutely wild that this is just casually the Incas' mountain house, you know, their little vacation home. Like coming here every now and then and seeing this view, it's absolutely wild and so, so stunning. I'm super jealous.
Are you gonna eat some grass right by us? I gotta say, I will never get tired of llamas or alpacas. They are so fun.
So Machu Picchu was absolutely incredible. If we did miss any sights in Machu Picchu, it's probably because it was closed off, most likely due to COVID. So we did see as much as we could see, and now we are descending back down into Aguas Caliente. And we did mention earlier that we are going to be hiking down in efforts to save money, and it looks like a pretty nice trail. As you can see, it's nicely laid out with stone, so I think it should be a quick descent. So we have stopped with quite the nice view, and we will be having a little snack. We actually didn't have lunch today, and we packed some food from Ollantaytambo, and we are going to eat it now so that we can have enough energy to make it all the way back down.
You're chasing me away.
This trail has been super great because there's a canopy the entire hike, so it makes it probably 10 to 15 degrees cooler.
Oh my God.
We get to use the stairs that the Incas used to use.
Don't fall in front of the bus that's coming. Yay! We have made it down, and now we just follow the road, and we're almost back to the river. We have finished our hike and we have made it back. We can see the town in the distance. And it was honestly a really good use of time because we don't have to be back at the train station until 5:50, and right now it's about 3 something.
Don't fold your hand and pretend something's missing. Something's missing. We've got the world, we've got the light. We've got the moves, we make it right. Too many pieces remain.
Gracias.
Alright, so it is now quite a bit later. It's 6 o'clock. Our train just arrived. We're going to be heading towards Ollantaytambo. But the reason that we booked a train that's a little bit later was actually because it was cheaper. So we've saved some money there. But as I said, we're going to hop on the train, go back to Ollantaytambo. Then we're going to get in a taxi and go over to Cusco.
A flicker flows through the flame. Something's missing. We've got the world, we've got the light. We've got the moves, we make it right. We've got the world, we've got the light.
So we have just exited the Peru Rail, and actually I do believe that the evening trains are a little bit cheaper because it is completely dark outside, so you cannot see any views on the entire ride. But honestly, we did not care too much about that because we were exhausted and we ended up just sleeping all the way back here. So now that we've gotten a little bit of rest, we're gonna go back to our Airbnb, collect our suitcases, and then hop on another ride all the way to Cusco.
Goodbye, wonderful flowing water of Ollantaytambo.
We've got the world, we've got the light inside of our heads. We've got the moves, we make it right.
Muchas gracias.
Hola. Buenas noches.
¿De Machu Picchu?
Sí.
Muy cansado.
Ah, pesado, sí, cansado.
Finally.
Wow.
It's so cold here in
Yeah, it's
Cusco.
very cold in
Back
Cusco.
in high elevation.
So we are recapping from the day. Claire was bitten by mystery bugs today.
Mystery bugs love me. So pro tip, don't wear short sleeves to Machu Picchu. I noticed them in the shower. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened to me?
We had so much fun at Machu Picchu today, but we are absolutely exhausted. So we're going to call it a night and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Hello guys, it is actually 2 days later because we didn't realize how much time we actually needed to recover from that Machu Picchu day trip. And that is mostly because it was a 17-hour workday for us. We were filming every single second of it and just like reciting history facts and making sure the audio was okay. Just because this is an important video, that was very stressful for us. So we just took 2 days off to breathe for a second.
Yes, to recover and to also reflect on what the trip really was, because it was such an amazing time. Like, even though we were working, I was seriously enjoying every second of it. So to end this video, we do want to recap on the cost of this trip if you are doing it yourself. So the very first expense is the Peru Rail ticket, which is $113 for a round trip. That is if you're picking the cheaper times to travel.
And as we said earlier, if you do return at a later time when it's all dark outside, you can't see any views, the prices will be a little bit cheaper, and that is what we did. So the next expense would be the bus ticket, and as we said before, we only did the bus going up, and the hike down really wasn't all too bad. If you can't do a lot of stairs, then maybe opt out of it. It is like a million stairs coming all the way down. Your legs will be a little bit sore. So if you have like bad knees or anything like that, just go ahead and get the round trip bus ticket. So for one bus ticket, it costs $12 per person, and that's just going one way up.
So the next thing that you will need to get is the entrance ticket for Machu Picchu, which costs $42, and you actually book it from the government website, which we'll link in the description box below.
And then the very last thing we needed was a taxi from Ollantaytambo to Cusco, and that was $19.56. And that was for the both of us to ride. So let's say you're going with a group of 5, that price could go down. But if you're going by yourself, you're gonna have to pay that whole price on your own. So if you can travel with other people, that obviously will bring your price down.
So the grand total, if you don't have any food included or a guide for the day, is $186.56.
And that is far cheaper than what we were seeing online. We were seeing prices that were ranging from $350 all the way to $570. And so I do think that we probably did save some money by doing it on our own. So now that we have broken down the prices for you, we wanted to reflect on whether we thought it was worth it to do it by ourselves and plan it all on our own and basically guide ourselves through something that we weren't very familiar with. And for the first time, we actually don't agree on this scenario, I guess.
Yeah, so I personally think that if you're coming to Machu Picchu and you're on vacation, definitely just book a tour, make it easy on yourself, and don't like have all these different factors that could go wrong. I think that it could really mess up your trip if something were to go wrong. Whereas we're here for a longer time, so we could afford to do it ourselves.
Yeah, I'm an avid planner and I plan like most of this trip. And so I would be fine planning it again on my own just because I know it will save me money, and I'm fine with, you know, taking responsibility for making sure the transportation is all set and making sure that the tickets are on the right date and all this stressful stuff, I guess. And so if you are really into planning and having that responsibility, then yes, for sure, it'll save you money. But if not, if you're just on vacation, you want to take a load off, then like what Chad said, you know, just go ahead and pay the extra fees.
So with all of that said, we hope that your future Machu Picchu trip goes very well, whether you go with a tour or if you do it yourself. Regardless, you're going to have an amazing time. And we really hope that this video was able to help you out in some way, give you some insight on what the trip looks like, what it looks like going there, and hopefully you will have a great time when you go.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hit subscribe if you would like to follow along on our adventure, and like this video if you did enjoy it. So until then, we will see you guys next time. Bye!
We got the world, we got the light inside of our heads. We got the moves, we make it right. We got the world, we got the light inside of our heads. We got the moves, we make it right. Breaking loose over on the open spaces. follow